not a trucking channel, and I am not a trucker. Hello, welcome to Not a Trucking Channel. This is not about Democrats, it's about communists. So it's been a hell of a night. Yesterday I said I wasn't gonna take the George Washington Bridge. I was gonna go around, but then I figured out they weren't doing work on the George Washington Bridge. So I said, okay, well, I'll go through. And so I ended up going over that bridge like 4 times last night. And then when I was down in Jersey, there was monsoon rains all the way up until now. And all the four-wheelers woke up and started doing 30 miles an hour in a horde. So it was not the best night ever. 4 times over the GWB is kind of a big deal, but I think my record is 5 when I was pulling Amazon for GB Hunt. Anyways, talking about the Democrats, I'm gonna have bad karma for making a bunch of noise next to this dude, but I gotta get used to it. I gotta record these things. What's the problem with Democrats? All right, well,
violation. 11-hour driving limit.
I do my post trip. Problem with the Democrats is they're leftists, and the leftists have been a problem, I think, ever since there was a split. Maybe before left and right, there was just like king, and he could be a crazy person or not. But anyways, ever since there's been leftists, there's been problems. And let's see, it started with the Jacobins and the French Revolution, and Lenin and Stalin and Soviet Russia were leftist. Mao is leftist. The Confederates were leftist. The Khmer Rouge were leftists. There's all kinds of other examples too. Down in South America, all those uprisings are leftist. People say that there's socialism on the right too, and fascism on the right, but the Nazis were leftists. I don't even know any examples of socialism on the right, or even dictatorships on the right. Maybe in Iran, they've got like a right-leaning dictatorship because first, everybody overthrew the Shah and England left, and then I think the right quashed the left. Maybe, I don't really know. But so, what I'm trying to say is the left has a track record of establishing totalitarian situations, and I think that we've seen that play out with COVID. That was like a global leftist nonsense thing that happened, and we're seeing their ties to the communists. China is creeping into our society, and the way they're doing it is through the Democrats. For instance, the voting machines that they used to rig the last election, those were Chinese voting machines owned by Chinese, operated by Chinese, linked to the United States through some office. Epoch Times did a documentary about this, but I can't remember the names of the specific office. But there's only one foreign company in all of China, and it's connected to this office in New York City, and they own voting machines. It's like, dude, come on. Like, just think. But I mean, like, that's not even the biggest problem with them. So the mandatory vaccines, I'm still pissed off about that. But I mean, it didn't used to be this way from what I've heard. They used to be free-thinking people, but now they're like, corporate agenda. We have no thoughts of our own. We download our thoughts. But what is it's cultural Marxism? It's just Marxists trying to degrade our civilization so that our civilization is weak and we cannot stand up against them. That's out of the playbook. That's out of the leftist playbook. They prefer if the whole place is destroyed in a war and then they can move in. That's what they did in, what was it, East Germany. And that's what they did with China. That's how they got into power in China. The commies hung around on the outskirts, and the state government fought off the Japanese, and China was destroyed. And then the state government was totally weak. And what happened after that was that the the commies strolled on in from hiding out in the forest. They were like, "All right, well, we're taking over," and they pushed Chiang Kai-shek out into Taiwan. And they love when their opposition is weakened, and they've figured out that cultural Marxism, just the degradation of everything that keeps society going, such as the nuclear family unit or any kind of family unit, is my bad karma. I parked next to a reefer, but I am the noisy thing here, which I normally never be noisy at all, but doing these vlogs, I have to be the noisy thing now. Because I would have the truck running if I was talking to my wife, but then I couldn't record the video, so I gotta be talking with the truck off and make a bunch of stupid fucking noise. Not the point. I don't know. I lost my train of thought because I feel guilty being a noisy jerk talking. The Democrats, they're screwing up our civilization. Look at the past 4 years, ever since they rigged that election. The second they rigged that election, I knew it was going to be bad. And it's just been, I mean, with the inflation, you know, and not just that, but like the, the LGHD TV thing where they're telling little boys, go cut off your wiener, and you'll be happy if you go cut off your wiener. And like, these people used to be in a closet and it was good. They were happy in there and we were happy out here. When they came out of the closet, everybody's been miserable. Maybe they should go back in the closet. Because, I mean, if I was them, I'd rather just keep it to myself. I have weird habits. I don't go tell everybody about all the weird things that I need to do. But it's here nor there, because that's just cultural Marxism. What else are they doing? They're making underhanded deals. I mean, launder all that. The war in Ukraine, the war in Ukraine. This is another thing about what's real and what's unreal. You don't know if there is a war in Ukraine. They say there is a war in Ukraine, but they also launder all the money. They send all our money over there. It gets washed and dried, then it gets sent back here, and suddenly they're super rich. They say hundreds of thousands of dead have died in Ukraine, but have you seen pictures of hundreds of thousands of dead? I've seen pictures of cardboard guns in their little propaganda videos. You could see that there's cardboard guns laying around. Is that an indication of something is really happening, or is it an indication of they're full of baloney? And this goes all throughout history. You have no idea what really happened and what did not happen because these people have no credibility. You can't believe anything about history. You can't even believe that history is really real. I'll talk about this in another video, but I mean, like, we are clueless about so many things. And then people say, "Oh no, you're crazy. You're crazy. How could you say there's no such thing as history?" It's like I'm saying there's no such thing as reality. So history is subsequent. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the leftists will take anybody they can twist to their own purposes. And that's the other thing is they're like the elite class, they're collegiate, they're medical, they're financial, they're white collar, you know, they're, parasites and predators and losers, weirdos. And then there's that whole thing about calling us weirdos, but dude, we all know who the weirdos are, right? But it's here nor there. It's a whole class of people who don't build anything, they don't create anything, they don't sustain anything. You know, they just swindle and scam everybody, and a party of insurance agents. You know, and is that the people we want controlling us? I mean, at least the Republicans pretend to care about blue collar guys, whereas the leftists, they were supposed to be like, unionize the workers of the world unite, but there's not even any workers over there. The workers are on the right, and they're over there. But once again, it's just about communism, and the leftist is cozy with buddy with the commies. They're taking money from communists. They're de facto communists. If you're taking their money and committing treason, you're one of them. I don't know, but whatever. This is not a trucking channel. This is not about Democrats. It's about communism. Love ya. Deuces.